Brothers and sisters, hear me loud and hear me clear. If they distance themselves and ignore you, do not beg for their attention. Do not crawl. Do not chase. Saying. And do not break your soul for crumbs of validation. The one who walks away has already made their decision. So let them go to what I'm saying. Because there comes a time when your silence must speak louder than their absence. There comes a time when your dignity must outweigh your desire to be accepted. And that time is no double. Let them ghost you. Let them fade into the fog of their own confusion. You are not a lifeline for cowards. You are not a backup plan. You are not, I'm saying, you are not a side note in someone else's story. You are the main chapter. But only if you stop lowering yourself to fit in where you don't belong. When someone chooses to ignore you, they are not saying, I'm busy. They are saying, you're not a priority. So why do you keep knocking on doors that God has closed? Why do you keep calling out to hearts that have gone cold? Let them go to what I'm saying. Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment you reclaim your power. You are not the one who lost something. They are. When someone distances themselves from you emotionally or physically, that is not your cue to start chasing. I'm saying that is not your invitation to shrink your pride and stretch your soul just to be seen. No, that is your moment to pause and stand tall. If they wanted to stay, they would have. Pay attention to what I'm saying. If they valued your presence, they wouldn't make you question it. You are not a beggar of affection. And your heart is not a vending machine that people tap only when they need something. Understand, the people who care will never make you fight for a place in their lives. The sad truth is, many are addicted to begging for scraps of love. They send another message. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. They check if the story was viewed. They wait in silence hoping for a reply that never comes. This cycle is not love. It is self-abandonment. To what I'm saying, every time you reach out to someone who consistently ignores you, You are slowly burning the bridge back to your own self-worth. The moment you ask, did I do something wrong? Or, why won't they reply? You are handing your peace over to people who don't know how to hold it. Let this be the day. Let this be the day you stop placing your identity in the hands of those who drop you without explanation. Attention that must be chased is already poison. It's corrupted because it forces you to perform, to bend, twist yourself to what I'm saying, to twist yourself into something smaller just to remain in someone else's line of sight. But love doesn't look away. Saying, loyalty doesn't need reminders. Respect to what I'm saying doesn't vanish when it's inconvenient. So if they've gone silent, let it be silent. Because the second you try to drag someone back who has walked away, you are telling your soul, you are not enough on your own. That is a lie. You are more than enough. They are simply not capable of receiving it. Remember this. When you beg for attention, put attention to what I'm saying. You become addicted to validation that was never meant to nourish you. It's like drinking seawater to quench your thirst. Your thirst, the more you consume, the emptier you feel. And soon, your joy is gone, your dignity is bleeding, and your confidence is buried under unanswered texts and unseen messages. You must be willing to stop. Stop begging. Stop knocking. Stop shrinking. Because the moment you do, you will realize they didn't reject you. They simply revealed themselves. There is a deep and dangerous lie that many accept without realizing the idea that being kept around by someone, even if inconsistently, is better than being alone. But that is not love, and it's not respect. It is emotional manipulation disguised as connection. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. When someone only calls you when they're lonely, only replies when they're bored, only shows interest when it's convenient, that is not a relationship. That is a transaction to what I'm saying. You must not allow yourself to be someone's emotional pit stop. You are not a temporary fix for their emptiness. You are not a standby option for when their favorite distractions are unavailable. Your presence to what I'm saying, your energy, your time, these things are sacred and they must not be handled casually. People who treat you like a backup plan are not confused. They're calculated. That's what I'm saying, sir. They know you'll answer. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll wait. Saying, and as long as you continue to allow it, they'll continue to do it. To what I'm saying. But when you begin to set boundaries, when you begin to say no to what I'm saying, I'm not available whenever you feel like it. That's when you reclaim your value. Saying, you were not born to fill in gaps. You had other people's lives. You were born to be seen, chosen, and cherished fully. Not halfway. Not occasionally. Not when it's convenient. If they can't show up for you consistently, then they shouldn't have access to you at all. When someone delays their response, leaves you unseen, or takes days to acknowledge your presence, do not take it as proof that you are unworthy. Their slow reply is not a mirror of your value. It is a reflection of their priorities. People make time for what matters. Make time for what matters. If they truly cared, you would never have to question it. Pay attention to what I'm saying. But here's the truth. You were never meant to live on standby. You were not created to sit in silence, wondering what you did wrong. To what I'm saying, when you start to believe that someone's delay defines your importance, you begin to shrink yourself. You begin to shrink yourself, worth down to the size of a timestamp. And that is a dangerous trap. One that will leave you constantly chasing validation that should come from within. You must stop tying your confidence to someone else's ability to communicate. Not everyone has the maturity to handle the weight of your presence. Some ignore because they are afraid. Others because they're distracted to what I'm saying, and some simply because they don't value what they have until it's gone. That is not your burden to carry. You are not less because someone couldn't see more. To what I'm saying, still whole, still powerful, still valuable, even in their silence. The real question is not, why haven't they replied? The real question is, why am I letting their delay determine how I feel about myself? The moment you take back control of that answer, you take control of that answer, you begin to walk in freedom. Rejection often feels like a wound, a harsh slap in the face, a closed door that echoes with silence. Well, I'm saying. But what if I told you that rejection is not punishment, but protection? What if that silence was not abandonment, but divine redirection? So many people cry over who left, who didn't choose them, who ignored their heart. And they miss the fact that rejection is often the universe or God Himself pulling you away from what was too small for your purpose. That unanswered message, that closed chapter, that person who vanished when you needed them most. They were never meant to carry your destiny. Let them go. Because when one door slams shut, it often saves you from walking into a room filled with confusion, heartbreak, and wasted years. When someone rejects you, don't chase them. Chase the lesson. Look closely, and you'll see the redirection taking shape to what I'm saying. Maybe they weren't equipped to love you properly. To what I'm saying, maybe they lacked the character to walk beside your calling. Maybe their presence in your life was temporary, just long enough to teach you how to start begging and start believing in yourself. Rejection is not always a curse. Sometimes it is the greatest mercy in disguise. And the sooner you accept that their exit is your upgrade, the sooner you stop clinging to what left and start stepping toward what's coming. So now I say to you, stand up, lift your head, pull your soul out of their silence. You were never created to beg for love, to chase after shadows, or to wait in rooms where your presence is barely noticed. Let them distance themselves. Let them ignore you. Because in their absence, you will find your essence. From this moment on, to what I'm saying, stop looking for your worth in people who walked away. Start looking inward to the fire, the strength, the dignity that I'm saying, that was never meant to be given away cheaply. Your heart is not a doormat. Your time is not disposable. Your love is not small. So don't offer it to those who treat it like a spare part. Walk away with grace, not bitterness. Leave with silence, not explanation. Because when you refuse to beg, when you stop chasing what ignores you, you give yourself permission to rise. To rise above pettiness. To rise above confusion. To rise into the fullness. To the fullness of who you were born to be. Let them go and let yourself grow. You don't need their attention. You need your own power. And that, my friends, to what I'm saying, is the beginning of everything.